Hi everyone and welcome to my place. If you're looking for something special to make for Easter, I have got a really great idea. Look at this. It's not quite finished. It was just one of those things I threw together as I was going through my day. I'll add a bit of this, I'll add a bit of that. And this is basically the look that I want to achieve, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And it is so easy. You're going to need some eggs and lots of little gathered things. So give me a moment to get rid of all of this, strike it, and then we will start with the construction from the bottom up. Right, here we have what looks like a terrible mess, but it won't be a terrible mess for a long time. So these are the components that I've gathered, and I'm on the hunt for things all the time. And if I see something that represents Easter, then I just grab it immediately. So what I've got here is a chopping board, lovely brown surface that I thought would be really lovely for this sort of like organic type of look that I'm looking for. Now I've got this great thing here. This is my cheese thing from a blue cheese, and you can see where the blue cheese has been. I've given it a wipe, so that's okay. And then that's going to go on the top. And I could be using a glass stone, but I sort of thought that looking through the wire cage would be really quite nice with all the components that I have. Now, also, I have got some moss balls, so I'm going to put those onto there like so, just because I wanted to mount it up and to give it a bit of elevation. I also found this beautiful little bird's nest, and I feel quite guilty that I actually pinched that from the bird, but never mind, birds are very good at making things. Now, have a look at this cutest little egg. Isn't that just the most gorgeous thing? It's my fake Fabergé egg. Easy, easy, easy to make. Let me gently put that down. I have to just reiterate the word, be gentle when you do the next process. Right, what I did was I got an egg and I put a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom and a hole in the top. And then from the top, it's not a very big hole, but it's big enough. So what I did, and I've made the one down the bottom just a little bit bigger, then you need to have lungs filled to overflowing with oxygen, and you gently blow, and believe it or not, the egg yolk and the white will gently just come away from there. You don't want to make that hole too big because it just means that you're going to have to cover it. The next thing I did was I got these are great, these things here. Look at this. I love it. These here are self-sticking little pearly things that all you need to do is, starting at the top where that little hole is, just stick that on top of that like that, and you just gently stick and fix those onto the outside of your egg. How easy is that? You can do, years ago when I used to do these, I used to use the Gem Bond glue and the little Swarovski crystals, and it takes forever and ever to get them to stick on because you can only do sections at a time. So using these is so much easier, and to just give it a little bit more of an embellishment, you can stick other little self-sticking little gems or crystals or little jewels onto those. And I think that these are in the most scrapbook aisles at your local crafts shop. This is another one that I did, and I absolutely love that. When I tell you that you've got to be really gentle, I mean you can't be pushing these too hard, because I spent all that work doing that, and because I was being a little bit rough, I've actually pushed that too hard and I've actually cracked it, which I see as a reject. But within something like this, it would be okay. Right, for today, I thought that I would use that into there. Just give that a wee push, and hopefully that doesn't come out. Now I'm also going to have butterflies on the outside, so I want to put the odd butterfly in the inside. So I'm just going to get the glue gun, and I wish that they made glue that's set much faster. And I'm just going to put that just onto there, just like that. It's very fiddly, the glue gun, and I've got just recovering from a very bad burn, so I'm being very cautious of the hot glue. Now that then just goes on the top of that, and already we're starting to get this really beautiful little picture of building up of little botanical things that I've found. Now the next thing is I've got a little bit of willow here, and the reason I wanted to use the willow is because I've got it matches, the colour of the bird's nest actually matches in with the colour of this twisty willow. I'm using artificial, but you could use fresh if you've got it. But it was just a little bit wet when I went to go and get it. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of wire and just twist that around there just to hold everything in place. And it won't matter if you see that wire at this stage, because I'm going to cover it anyway. And where there's all sticking out, we don't want things like that sticking out, because sometimes they can just get in the road on the table and can be knocked. Right, that just goes onto the top there, and I still want to see the outside of that beautiful wooden surface. Now I've got some artificial ivy here. You could use fresh ivy, but it's not going to last as long, and I want something that's going to last a few days, so that's just going to go on the top of that, just as if it was a little wreath. Then I've got some beautiful blossom here. This is a pear blossom, which I think is just gorgeous. That can just sit down into there like that. And I want that to actually sweep across the top. So where that is sort of, I know that that's not stable. So if you've got a stability issue, just get another little bit of wire and then just wire that around there like that, just to hold it into place. You could use the glue, but look, I've been having trouble with the glue. So I think that sometimes it's just as easy to just leave it out. If in doubt, leave it out. I've got another little bit here which I'm going to put round into that side so that that sweeps this way. And then with this bit here, I'm just going to push that down into there so that that goes around there. And then with that little bit there, I'm just going to push that down into there like so. Right, from there, I've got these lovely little porcelain leaves that I made ages ago, and I'll show you how to make those in due course. Very, very easy. And I just thought that a little leaf, and this is where you're going to have to be careful to make sure that your balance is perfect, because this is only just being held with just the tiniest, tiniest little bit of a wire. And then with these butterflies here, I thought that they come with these little wires on there. These I'm just going to stick in to the inside so that they just look like they're flying around. So that can go there. And I've got another one here which I'll just put into there like so. Now if you wanted to add a stronger, more natural branch, that could go into there like so, and I am going to have to wire that. Stay there please, don't move. That can go to there. Whoa, stop moving. Just get another little bit of wire. It's a lot of wiring and a lot of muck. It looks like a lot of mucking around, but once you get this stage done, you'll be fine. And I'll just tie that around there, and that's popped off, so I'm just going to put that back over to there and wind that like so. Ah, perfect. Right. Oh, I do love it. And I might just put a little leaf, get rid of that little thing there, which just will unwind. These were a good idea when I did these. And then I just put a little leaf down there, and I've got one more butterfly, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue onto that, and that can go into there, which will hide that wire. I'll turn it around so that you can have a look at what it's looking like. Look at that, isn't that just gorgeous? Loving it. Easy, easy, easy Easter. Oops, when I did that, I did it well. I don't cut that bit off because I don't want that bit on there. And I'll put another little leaf around there, so that and also you can see that I'm bringing the whites through the whole design. Now the other thing I wanted to show you were these eggs here. I found these just at a confectionery shop, and they're eggs that are chocolate with a sort of like a like a sugared almond coating, and they come all plain like this. And these pens here, fantastic pens. They are food grade safe, and on the back it told me that they were FDA approved in the States and in the UK. So with these, all I did was, and with very clean hands, you can just do your own little wee designs, or you could perhaps get the kids involved to do little designs on the outside of them. Now this stuff does stain, so you do have to be careful. And you just leave them a few moments until they have dried off, and I've got a whole lot here. And what I thought would be really lovely for the children is to just put just a few little eggs hidden around the outside, so that on Easter morning they've got these beautiful little eggs that they can have little treats by. And I think that this is something really lovely that the children would enjoy. In fact, this is a job you could probably get the kids to do for you. When I've got one wee flower, I'm just going to put that there. So there you go. How's that? Easy, easy peasy, yummy, something nice visually for Easter. Happy Easter, everyone, and I'll see you another day.